Hello, everyone. My name is Ben. I am from INTRNACHI, that's the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. We're doing a live class. In just a few minutes, it's supposed to start. So we'll give everyone a chance to join in about 8 minutes officially. So thanks for coming. So we'll begin in just a few more minutes. It officially starts at 10 a.m. Mountain Time, where I am. And if you're attending live, we'll give you a few more minutes to log in to the system. And if you're watching this on YouTube at a later date, INTRNACHI is the world's largest organization of residential and commercial property inspectors. Essentially, we train and certify property inspectors all over the world. And we do live online video classes, just like this one, regularly, about once a month. And they're online and free. Anyone can attend them. You don't have to be a member of INTRNACHI to attend one of the live classes. So I see students are starting to register in. The class officially starts in 7 minutes now. So thanks for your patience. I figured while I have you, I would start the class early and talk a little bit about this one URL. It's nachi.org/everything. If you can see that, nachi.org/everything. And there, that's an interesting page if you are in the business of being an inspector, because we put everything that you need all in one place, and you can access it from this one page. And it's basically a step-by-step checklist for running a successful home inspection business. So if you want to take a look at that, again, the URL is nachi.org/everything. If you go there, there's the step-by-step checklist. And the first step is to join INTRNACHI. And you join INTRNACHI so that you can receive access to unlimited access to all of our free online training courses at no additional cost. And it's learn at your own pace. So we have hundreds of hours of online training courses. And when you join INTRNACHI, you have access to all that and some membership benefits. And then as a member of INTRNACHI, after you join, you can attain over 30 different certifications, including Certified Home Inspector, Certified Home Energy Inspector, Certified Mold Inspector, Certified Roof Inspector, Certified Moisture Intrusion Inspector, at no additional cost. So first you join INTRNACHI, and then when you're ready, you attain a certification that you desire at no additional cost. Why? Because our certified members have access to everything, all of the INTRNACHI membership benefits, including access to our marketing team. INTRNACHI has a marketing team at headquarters here in Boulder, Colorado. And what we do for our members is that we help them develop their brand and marketing. Your brand is the answer to the question, why should I hire you instead of someone else? Your brand is that which distinguishes you from all the rest. It's why you're the best. And then your marketing is that which sends that message out. Logo design, website, business card, flyers, brochures, marketing pieces, things that attach to marketing pieces, That's your marketing. And all of the design work for your business logo and your business cards, your print marketing, all that design work is done by our professional illustrators and designers who will sit down with you over the internet and work with you one-on-one, developing your brand, and then we'll design your logo and your business card and your flyer, and all that design work is free. So if you're starting out especially, don't drag something off of the internet, some logo, and use it for your business. It's probably copyrighted. So what we do is we start from scratch. We hand sketch a logo that you like and work with you until you like it. And then you can put that logo on all of your marketing pieces and on your website. So that's one of the things that our certified members take advantage of. So first you join InterNACHI to have access to the training, to become certified, to train yourself and attain a certification. Choose one, choose all of them. We have over 30 certifications to choose from at no additional cost for our members. We also have a free online business course that you could take. And that's step 4. It's important to take a business course. When's the last time you took a business course? Not many inspectors do. That's why many tend to have a lot of challenges within the first year or two, because they're very good at the technical aspects of performing a home inspection, but the business skills they don't have. So that's why we have a free online home inspection business course. Okay, officially the class, the live class, starts in 1 minute. So we'll start in just about 1 minute, allowing more people to show up. We had over 1,000 registered students for this live class. I see many are attending right now, coming into class. And so let's get back to our slide. So welcome everyone. My name is Ben Gromyko. I am from InterNACHI. That stands for the International Association of Certified Home Inspectors. We're the world's largest organization of residential and commercial property inspectors. Essentially, we train and certify property inspectors all over the world. And today we're doing a live video class on how to inspect for moisture intrusion defects. And some logistics. You should be able to see me. You should be able to hear me. I can't see you. I can't hear you. But we have a chat room within the class. You could chat by typing in your discussion, messages, questions with other students, with me. Feel free. It'd be great to see if someone hears me clearly. How's my microphone? Hello, Richard. And Rich. And Gil. All right, so you're all coming to class. Awesome. Well, today's class is a free online class. InterNACHI provides free online training, especially to its members, but these live video classes are open to everyone, and they're free and online. And we do them about once a month. This one is about how to inspect for moisture intrusion defects. And we're going to go through a few things. Thanks, Robert. You can hear me? Awesome. Thank you. Thanks, Jeff. All right, so here's what we're going to go over today. And we're going to try to make it in 1 hour. We're going to go over some water intrusion. What is water intrusion? We're going to go over some international building standards. I'm going to show you where to get some free online training courses. Talk about becoming a certified moisture intrusion inspector. And then we're going to perform some inspections. That's what I really want to get to, because that's the fun part. Our marketing team that I just spoke about, designs logos for our members, but we also have certification logos. So we have training courses, you get trained, and then you take a final exam. It could be proctored or online, and you become certified. We also help members, individuals, become licensed in their state if your state or province regulates property inspectors. So there's a logo. I think the best home inspectors are actually trained as moisture intrusion inspectors. And I'll tell you why as we go through the class. Homes have moisture intrusion problems from 4 things, but 2 of them we're all familiar with. Rain from above the ground, and groundwater, water below the grade. And builders, designers, home inspectors, homeowners have traditionally been preoccupied with these mechanisms for moisture intrusion. The other 2 are air transportation and, to a much lesser extent, vapor diffusion. These also contribute to the wetting of building materials. Each type of moisture entry mechanism here is capable of leading to moisture-related building problems. And all moisture intrusion problems are related to one or a combination of these 4 things: rainwater, rain above grade, water below grade, air transportation. You simply have a hole and a water vapor is carried through the air, through that hole. And vapor diffusion is where water vapor passes through a material, essentially. And in any climate, building assemblies can get wet from rain or groundwater, and techniques to control the rain or groundwater are similar in all climates and are essentially interchangeable. They include drainage planes behind the exterior covering, air barriers, air pressure control, vapor retarders, controlling the moisture levels inside the building with ventilation or dehumidification. Preventing building assemblies from getting wet by air movement and vapor diffusion is very different. And it really depends, it's complex because it depends on climate and temperature and the season. And those 2 things, climate and temperature or season, determine the location of the air barriers and vapor retarders, pressurization or depressurization, ventilation, dehumidification or humidification. So it's a bit more difficult. To control rainwater, water from above grade, you simply want to shed the water by layered materials on the structure and direct it down and out. To control groundwater, you keep that rainwater away from the foundation wall because it's going to go in if you don't. And you drain groundwater with underground drains before it even touches the foundation wall. To control air transportation, well, you do some air leakage sealant, and you use air barriers, which are essentially materials designed to control the airflow between the inside and the outside, the conditioned air and the unconditioned air, like drywall. To control vapor diffusion, a little bit more complicated because we want to keep water vapor out. We don't want that, let's say, hot, humid, wet air to come into the nice, cool, conditioned house in hot, humid climates. We want to keep that water vapor out, but we also want to let water vapor out if it gets in. So it gets complicated in different climates because water vapor tends to move from warm parts of a wall to cold parts of a wall. And that all changes depending on where you are, what climate and what temperature it is. So controlling vapor diffusion has a lot to do with the retarder location and the class or type. And while we're at it, talking about moisture intrusion, when I see moisture problems, I think, well, there's high humidity and also a lot of conditions conducive to mold growth. For mold growth to occur on surfaces, you need these 4 things. Mold spores, well, they're everywhere. So you've got those. You can't control that. A nutrient base must be available. Well, most surfaces contain nutrients, so you really can't control that. Temperature range between 40 degrees Fahrenheit and 100 degrees Fahrenheit. Well, most homes are within that comfortable range. It's hard to drop it, hard to live in a house that's freezing or really hot. And the fourth thing you need is relative humidity adjacent to surfaces that is high, above 70%. So of those four conditions, RH, near surfaces, is the most practical way to control mold growth. And to control conditions conducive to mold growth, you got to keep those relative humidities near surfaces below 70 degrees, much lower in some climates. And since the RH is dependent on both temperature and vapor pressure, mold control is dependent on controlling both the temperature and vapor pressure near surfaces. All right. So enough with the first bullet point about water intrusion, the technical aspects. Let's take a look at some building standards. Home inspectors are not code inspectors. We have a clear scope of work written out in the standards of practice. But it's often handy to know what the modern updated codes say, because codes historically change when someone gets hurt. So an old existing home that most home inspectors inspect, if that home was built to standards way back when, that doesn't really mean that these things are safe or performing well. They were built to standards way back when. So it's a good idea to think about what is the modern standards. And for this course, moisture intrusion course, I like to go to the public records. International Code Council, a fantastic organization, has put all their codes online for free, publicly available. And I like to go to the International Residential Code for 1 and 2 family dwellings. The latest edition is 2012. And chapter 7 is the wall covering. And the exterior is R703. And it says, exterior walls shall provide the building with a weather resistance exterior wall envelope. This reminds me of roof coverings. Roof coverings, I use this terminology with my clients describing their roof. Sloped asphalt shingle roofs are not waterproof, they're water resistant, just like the exterior walls. An exterior wall envelope shall include flashing as described in this section. Well, I like to click that section. And here we are. It says, I'll try to read it to you. I see the text is kind of small. Approved corrosion-resistant flashing shall be applied shingle fashion, remember, layered down and out, in a manner to prevent entry of water into the wall cavity or penetration of water into the building, structural framing components. Self-adhered membranes used as flashing shall comply with this standard. This is what I like. The flashing shall extend to the surface of the exterior wall finish. The flashing shall extend to the surface of the exterior wall finish. So if it's aluminum siding, brick, stucco, vinyl, the flashing is supposed to be installed in certain locations, these 7 locations coming up, and that flashing shall extend to, what's it say? Shall extend to the surface of the exterior wall finish. So if you're looking at, let's say, an exterior window, right? I like to look at the head flashing. I should be able to see flashing extended to the surface of the exterior wall surface with stucco, brick. I want to see weep holes at the bottom and lips of extended flashing material. There are exceptions. You should know them, especially with stucco. Flashing is supposed to be installed in 7 locations, according to building code. Exterior window and door openings, at the intersection of chimneys or other masonry construction, with projecting lips on both sides under stucco copings, under and at the ends of masonry, wood, or metal copings and seals. I like this one, number 4, continuously above projecting wood trim. So if you have wood trim and it projects from the surface of the exterior material, wall finish, there's a continuous covering with approved flashing. Flashing is installed where exterior porches, decks are attached to the assembly wall frame construction at wall and roof intersections, like where the wall meets a, let's say, a lean-to or a shed roof, right? And there's like maybe second floor bedroom windows there. At that area, I should see flashing shall extend to the surface of the exterior wall finish. So it's okay to see flashing. A lot of roofers have that flashing there. Maybe the homeowner requests that ugly flashing be covered up. So they take shingle tabs and they nail right through. Boom, boom, boom. You can't nail through flashing. That's extended out to protect and shed water down and out. So just leave that flashing go. And flashing at built-in gutters. Not many of those around. So the sentence I really like is, the flashing shall extend to the surface of the exterior wall finish. You have to know maybe some standards, some building practices, some whatever the AHJ says, right? Authority having jurisdiction, what they accept. Figure out what is acceptable in your area. What is the standard? And then look for that. So if you need illustrations or graphics, InterNACHI has a library of thousands of 3D colorful graphics that you can download in HD, high definition, put it on your website, on an information page, stick it in a brochure that we can design for you, put it in your inspection report especially, and there's the extended flashing, right, at the head wall, where the roof meets the wall. There's some flashing at the top, right, where the protruding lip comes out, so it drips away. And there's the cant strip, right, and then the flashing and the counter flashing. Kick-out flashing, I don't care what exterior wall covering, wall finish there is, vinyl, aluminum, especially stucco, you need a kick-out flashing. I think we all went through that problem many years ago. Everyone should know that by now. I love to get underneath the deck and look for flashing, that it is extended out away from the finish. I want to see that material, and above and below the ledger board. Now, to control rainwater, lots, the ground, the land around the house, should be graded to drain surface water away from the foundation walls with a minimum fall of 6 inches for the first 10 feet. So you measure 10 feet out, right? Should drop 6 inches. And some homes, some yards, you know, they don't have 10 feet, so you have drains or swales. And impervious surfaces, like a sidewalk poured out of concrete, within 10 feet of the foundation shall be sloped as well, away. So we talked about water intrusion, codes. We have some free online training courses, right? Some free online training courses. And to access all of the free online training courses, free to members, you have to be a member. You don't have to be a home inspector immediately. What you do is you join InterNACHI, the big group InterNACHI. You join it as a member. And as a member, you have access, free, unlimited online access to all of our online training courses. And whenever you're ready, because it's learn at your own pace, you can become certified. And we have over 30 different certifications to choose from. And so first you go here, nachi.org/join. And here's our education page, nachi.org/education. Free inspector training and education. And here's, I'm just going to scroll for a little bit. So on the left side of this table is the title of the course. On the right side is the course approvals, accreditations. So a lot of our courses are approved in all the states that regulate inspectors. And NACHI.org/certification is where all of our certifications are listed. Step 1, you join InterNACHI to gain access to the training. Step 2, you get certified at no additional cost. You simply choose what you want to be. And I suggest becoming an InterNACHI certified moisture intrusion inspector. You get that logo after you take our certification courses. And it's not easy. All right, so we're pounding out the list. 1, we talked about water intrusion, what it is, what it isn't, how to control it. We looked at international building standards. They're free and online from IRC. Thank you, IRC. Free online training courses from InterNACHI. Thank you, InterNACHI. Become a certified moisture intrusion inspector. Now let's perform some inspections. The fun stuff, right? Let's look for some moisture intrusion. So I see some students saying that the screen is out of focus. Maybe refresh your screen. Just click that refresh button. On my URL, there's a little refresh button, or simply put your mouse in the URL and highlight it and click it again. See if it loads up again for you. Make sure you're connected to high-speed internet. You could always watch this later if you're having technical difficulties. Inspectors and students have bad feedback about certain browsers, so I suggest not using those. I don't want to name them, but use Chrome or Firefox, and that should work. All right. Not many questions. Someone says it's not raining right now here in California. All right. It's downpouring right now, actually, in Boulder, Colorado. Let's inspect this house. This was a full home inspection that I did, certified home inspection, but I'm pulling out the systems and components that I inspect that are related to moisture intrusion. And it's basically, I'm almost inspecting the whole house, because everything that you inspect in a home, everything, probably everything, is related to moisture intrusion. That's because a house is a system of interdependent parts where one system affects all others. You mess up the roof, you're going to have other systems in the house that are messed up, affected, right? You have water intrusion and a missing kickout, you're going to have other systems affected, structural systems, foundation, indoor air quality stuff. So a house is a system of interdependent parts. Here's an offer for you non-members who are attending this live training class, not recorded. If you're watching this later on at a YouTube video, many of you do, you missed the class, darn. You also missed this offer. It's only good for non-members who are attending this class right now. And the offer is a 50% discount off your first year membership. So when you join InterNACHI, you have two options. You could join monthly for $49 a month as of the date of this video, and $499 a year. And if you join now, if you click that I'm interested button, if you're a non-member and you join InterNACHI now, that $499 fee is cut off by half. So it's $249.50. So to receive your discount, if you're a non-member watching this, attending this live class, not a recording, click that button, I'm interested. There's a simple 3-step form. You fill it out and you choose the discount price. And we have 20 of them available. So grab them up, and you have, the ticker is ticking, as you can see. You have less than an hour to join if you're interested. And we have 20 of those discounts available. Okay. There's a question. Ben, what constitutes a state becoming regulated? The legislators decide to regulate a profession by licensing them or regulating them in some way. Just wonder why CA isn't, I don't know why California doesn't regulate. I guess, you have to, I don't know, it's up to legislators, but California only has, I believe, a paragraph within some legislation that was written many, many years ago that describes what a home inspection is. And it also includes that it allows a home inspector in California to comment upon energy deficiencies. So that's interesting. Couple questions. Should we call out a wall to roof flashing that has shingles nailed through them? I personally do. Because I don't see anywhere in the standards or good acceptable building practices that says that you can pound a hole through flashing material designed to shed water away. And that hole goes through not only the flashing material, but the shingle material and the underlayment and into the sheathing, if it's the correct size. So it's a potential water entry point, I call it. Some roofers put sealant over it, and I believe that's, in my opinion, as a professional certified home inspector, I love to express my opinion, that sealant is a Band-Aid. What's really good is to apply the skills while you're building, your building practices based upon the standards, and the standards say that flashing should project out. We just read it. Says nothing, well, if it looks ugly, pound a couple holes in it, pound 50 holes in it. All right, so let's keep going. I think of rainwater. So remember, one of the mechanisms for water entry point is water from above, rainwater from above grade. You got to get on the roof or inspect it from the ground surface or inspect it from a ladder from the eaves. As a home inspector, if I'm doing a home inspection, I'm following a standards of practice for performing a general home inspection. That standard does not require me to step upon any roof. I don't have to go up on any roof as a home inspector. Not required to go on any roofs. So don't get on any roof surfaces if you are not trained and certified to do so. So I'm looking at the, do you know what this component behind the chimney stack is? We have a very wide chimney stack, and the small roof component behind the chimney stack is called a what? Correct, cricket. And you shouldn't see any sealant on it. The flashing should be installed properly. So I'm calling that out as a potential water entry point. There is no kick-out flashing. This is the same chimney stack. Here comes the water. It goes right into that hole and goes behind the stucco, and you can't see it until it starts to bleed out. So there's no kick-out flashing here. This is a great picture of a missing kick-out flashing. The roof itself is no longer water resistant because it has cracks that go all the way through. So you see that? Oops. Sorry about that. Oops. I lost my, hold on a second. I lost my slides here for a second. Hold on, folks. I'll find them. There we go. So the cracks go all the way through. That's not good. So it's no longer water resistant. Here's the chimney stack that we just saw missing kickout flashing. And you can see the water damage. The shingles are going right through, the water is going right through the materials because the top of the chimney stack has no proper flashing. So there's nothing going on here with proper flashing. There's a lot of masonry exposed and a lot of water points. And there's cracks. And here's the missing kickout flashing. As I'm moving down from the roof, I'm coming down my ladder. There's the effects of the kickout flashing that's visible, but most of the good stuff, the damage, is behind the stucco because of missing kickout flashing. And it's not just from rainwater coming down the roof, it's also the gutter filling up and spilling over where that kickout flashing is missing. So the gutters are filled with water. And there's another water entry point. So to find water intrusion defects, you have to find the things that are properly installed or not properly installed or are damaged that are designed to shed water away, like we read in the code. There's another chimney stack with moisture damaging the mortar joints and the thin stucco application of the masonry. So moisture intrusion. Whenever I see metal flashing, counter flashing and step flashing at a roof, shingle roof and wall intersection, fantastic. When I see several different kinds of sealant applied, that's an indication that that flashing is having problems. It's installed, but someone's having a roof leak and someone keeps going up there and trying to fix it with a Band-Aid. You should not need any sealant at a step flashing area and a counter flashing area. Right there, shouldn't need it. So it's an indication to me something's wrong. There's another chimney stack, has a metal cap, stainless steel. More sealant where the shingles meet the stucco, and the stucco is not terminated properly, it looks like. Looks like it's squished right down on the shingles themselves. There's no separation. Another missing kickoff flash. So this house had a lot of chimney problems with flashing, missing flashing, openings in the chimney, and the stucco itself not really terminating well. I don't see how that drainage plane is going to drain out onto the roof. I do see some nice metal above the window, but that stucco looks like it's just squished in there. I'm not sure what's going on. And this wood here is starting to absorb moisture, and it's not terminated well, the stucco, and it's starting to rot. So trim boards like that, wooden trim boards, tend to absorb moisture from the ends, and it sucks inwards, capillary action. But as I'm going around, especially on the stucco house, I want to see nice metal flashing on top of the windows, unless there's an exception to the rule of how that stucco or window was applied together. Missing kick out at this masonry chimney, missing shingles, potential water entry points. Again, this flashing was installed great, but they put several hundred nail holes through the flashing. Cracking at the chimney stack where the chimney stack itself is almost like a different structure than the wooden framed house. They move and flex differently, and they crack. And there's no control brakes there, so it just cracks open. Potential water point. Anything that's wood on the outside, I'm touching, I'm tapping, I'm poking. My handy screwdriver, just do some taps. You could hear it if it's rotten or not, if it's absorbing or wicking moisture. The groundwater, the rainwater has to be shed away and out. So take a look at downspouts. This one is not diverting water away from the house. It's dumping hundreds of gallons of water every heavy rainstorm in Pennsylvania, right next to the foundation corner. This one too, that one too, that one too. It's not sloped away, not sloped away. The lot is not sloped away. This vegetation with the wood chips and the nice fluffy dirt, essentially just a lot of sponges up against the foundation wall. Wood that is water damaged allows moisture to go through. You can't paint over it, although just before I do a home inspection, I see a lot of water damaged areas that are painted over, but that doesn't help. So water entry points right there, and that's right in the middle of the wall assembly. Perfect spot for water intrusion. So I like to look at a window or a door. It's really left corner, left top, bottom left, bottom right, looking for water entry points. There's the deck and the ledger board. I want to see flashing at the top and bottom. Nope, don't see it. Nope, don't see it. Although I see exposed plywood, not even any felt paper, and some strange moisture marks coming from the bottom edge of the ledger board where the masonry comes up to the ledger board. What the? So that's very strange watermarks. I'm thinking there's a lot of water during a rainstorm coming down, not being shedded. There's no flashing at the top of the ledger, and it goes behind the ledger board, does damage, comes out all brown. So it's cosmetic, but it's an indication of potentially something going on. And the doors themselves, like this door, the tread piece was actually lifted up. It wasn't flat. For some reason, it's up like that. Maybe it wasn't installed properly. And so water can go. It's no longer shedding water off the tread. It's allowing water to go underneath the tread, like that, right through there. And I carry a 3-tine hoe. It's a gardening tool. It's extendable, and it has 3 tines on it, so 3 like fingers. I stretch one out straight, curve the other one, and really curve the next one. And with that combination, I can grab insulation and put it right back. I want to look at the band rim joist, the sill plate, the joist ends. I want to look at the structure. I didn't find anything actually downstairs. And this is me in the attic. There's water damage, water marks from a roof leak. There's ceiling water marks. And so when we get to the interior, what I like to do is add more information to my eyes, because I'm required to do a visual only inspection. I don't have to quantify or measure anything, but I like to use infrared cameras, and they are now, I would say, affordable depending on what type you use, and I go for low resolution. I don't need anything high res. I'm not quantifying anything, I'm not measuring anything, I'm just looking for anomalies. This infrared camera is a couple $100, and it attaches to my iPhone 5. They have one for Androids as well. And then there's another one that doesn't have to attach to a camera. It's, I believe it's called a C2 or something. And it's about this size, and it fits in your pocket. And it's a low-res infrared camera that you can use to look for anomalies, to qualify, not quantify, to qualify, give qualifications, anomalies, opinions. Oh, something looks different. That may be an indication, that cold spot on the ceiling may be an indication of moisture intrusion. I don't make any deductions or conclusions just based upon my infrared. You follow up with a moisture meter and confirm. And the moisture meter, I'm just looking for something audible or a little beep, a red light. I'm not looking for a measurement. And you can either do non-invasive or invasive with a probe. Or you could extend it if you wanted to. So you can really reach up and get a probe. So you follow up your infrared scan, low-res infrared scan, with a moisture meter, non-invasive detector to see if it's wet. And then the best tool you could have to look for moisture intrusion, everyone has them. Hopefully you have too. It's your hand. So you can just touch your hand on the area to see if it's wet. And that's a really good tool as well, using your fingers and your hands. I look for air leakage as well for that. So some tips on how to use some tools during your moisture inspections. You want to do another inspection? It's we've done about 37 minutes so far. Hope you're all asking each other questions. We had over 1,000 people register for this live class. And let's see. Infrared cameras. Will infrared cameras find moisture behind finished walls? It's a great question. You know, what does an infrared camera do? What does this tool do for you? What does it see? It really sees, in general basic terms, temperature differences. It's really it doesn't know if it's wet, doesn't know if it's moisture. There's really nothing behind the surface that this thing can see. All this does is look for temperature differences on the surface. And you take our training courses to become infrared certified, and all the training and certification is free and online through InterNACHI. We also have a live training class with John McKenna during a class similar to this format. But it just sees temperature on the surface. But you have to be trained, because you can be fooled if you're looking at something shiny. It may look hot. So things like that. But basically it's just, if this is cool, and it's in an area where I inspected that I think, oh, missing kickoff flashing, if I see a streak of cool going all the way down right below a kickoff flashing, well, that adds more information to my eyes. Doesn't tell me what's going on behind the walls. Doesn't mean that there's moisture. I have no idea, really. Still have no idea what's going on. I'm just able to add more information. Now, with this infrared, I can distinguish between this part of the wall and this part of the wall that is cooler. I know something is going on. I know something is different. There's an anomaly right here. Now, I follow up. Don't make any deduction. I follow up with a moisture meter, and yep, for sure. Yep. This indicates that there's a higher level of moisture right here compared to somewhere else. This is like my control, and this is my test. Yeah. Then maybe I can deduct something, deduce something. I physically maybe touch it or prick it, do a prick test on the wood, or touch it with my hand and actually find things. Maybe conditions conducive to mold growth or mold growth indications. So let's just keep going. That was a great question. Do another inspection, okay? Get up on the roof again. Problem with the roof, potential water entry point. I'm also looking at the flashing, anything that penetrates the roof covering surface. The shingles themselves, this house is good. The rubber membrane flashing around the vent pipe needs to be replaced, potential water entry point. The gutters need to be cleaned. There's a hole in the shingle roof. I take a look at the chimney flashing, the chimney structure itself, damage at the interior flue liner. Could be condensation problems, maybe down in the basement. I'm gonna look for, water intrusion is water, could be condensation, condensate. I'm gonna look at that. There's flashing, but there's a big hole right there. Boop. Good. At the cricket, again, at the top, there's actually a hole right there. So this is behind the chimney, is the ridge of the cricket. Valley flashing is the top intersection. There's actually a hole right there. The gutters are collecting rainwater and hopefully discharging it down and away from the foundation wall. They're clean because they have these guards over it. I personally had them and they didn't work very well, that type of style, especially if you have large trees that drop leaves during the fall. Poor patch, an actual hole that was filled with, looked like white silicone. 2 layers of asphalt shingles. This is important to my moisture intrusion inspection if I'm doing this as a separate service, because a second layer tends to have more problems with flashing than the original first layer, once a single layer of asphalt shingles. Why? Because, well, ideally you want to re-step flash with the second layer. If you don't, then imagine at the intersections where the step flashing is, water can travel underneath the new second layer and travel on top of the old shingle layer and then move anywhere you want. So it could leak over here and then go 20 feet away if it's not properly flashed. Downspouts should be diverting water away from the house. This is basically a swamp area, nice and flat ground, perfectly flat ground and wet. Right next to the foundation wall. Same thing here. There's no swale really, and water just was coming right into the back of the house there. Water, look for every door. I like to see where the people step and walk, and we have a low spot right in the interior corner of the house where the door is. So I'm thinking in my head, now look at the window wells are filled with vegetation. We're going to have, conditions conducive to moisture intrusion down in the basement. A lot of vegetation up against the foundation wall. Taking a look at any system or component. Air conditioning is part of a moisture intrusion inspection because the air conditioner, which apparently is in the attic because there's the condensate drain line. Condensate drain pipe is above the compressor on the outside, condenser unit on the outside. So obviously the refrigerant lines are going up, condensate is coming back down. The condensate could be a problem. That's moisture intrusion. That's moisture, water, liquid water, bulk water. It needs to be handled properly. And downspouts are disconnected. This gutter is overflowing. It's actually pulling off the house. The heating system was a boiler, and there's a chimney going in. So I really can't see what's going on with condensate or exhaust gases. And there's a drip from the TPR valve from the boiler. That's water intrusion. There's a large puddle of water actually in the basement right next to the boiler. They're just leaving it go. And that adds to indoor air quality issues as well. There's a crawl space. So it wasn't a full basement. Most of the house was a crawl space. So I like to put on my crawl space gear. InspectorOutlet.com is our e-commerce partner, InspectorOutlet.com. They sell these fantastic crawl space gloves where they're gloves, but they extend beyond the elbow a couple inches, and they're padded on the bottom where you crawl. And, personal protection. So get the hat on, get the goggles on, get the mask on, and knee pads, shoes with steel toes or some good toes, and maybe some more crawl gear. Crawl gear makes a fantastic wheeled kind of thing where you lay your body on top of something with 4 wheels, a little platform, and you crawl through crawl spaces. So I like to go straight to the sill plate, the ends of the joists, the wooden components that are on the outside perimeter of the building structure, the band rim joist, and in the bays, I like to take a look at what's going on. And the first thing I see is silicone. I don't know what silicone is doing at the band rim joist. And then there's some different types of silicone going on. There's watermarks, and there's sawdust of some kind. And that's just, here's another one, and another one. So we have a lot of moisture problems above the masonry unit, concrete block foundation wall, above the sill plate, but on the outside, the band rim joist, where the floor joists rest upon the sill plate on the foundation wall, right there, there's something going on. The bottom of the siding on the outside, I didn't see anything. There was clearance, but something is going on. Something's not right. It's wet. It's damaged. That's my screwdriver going through. And you can call out a bunch of things: water damage, moisture intrusion, mold growth, conditions conducive to mold growth. And these are different areas. I don't know what the white silicone, I don't know what that idea was for. great, though, to see white silicone on structural components. It's just a clear indication. It's just yelling. It's a flag that says, look over here. New plumbing components, old plumbing components with watermarks. I run water and see what, a lot of older homes have watermarks. I'm not going to freak out until I actually run water and see what's going on and see if I can get anything to leak. But I will write in my report any observations of watermarks and ask for my client or the homeowner to ask the homeowner about the watermarks and have my client monitor that area, because I see dry watermarks. Foundation wall is structurally good, but there are areas, obviously this is a ventilated crawl space that is not insulated. The floor is not insulated. So there's some issues there. And we have a building science course that talks about how to handle crawl spaces. And some water intrusion through the masonry brick. Remember, all masonry is kind of like a sponge, unless it's coated on the outside with something special, some proprietary coating. And think of it as wicking something, like a sponge, and it wicks. So this moisture that you see on the inside didn't have to originate on the inside of it's not a plumbing leak that's, making that watermark. It's probably something on the outside, and it's wicked all the way through the material of the concrete block through the cell. It could be filled, it could be empty, could have filled up with water. And on the other side, through the mortar joints, a lot of moisture intrusion comes through mortar joints, actually. And we have a nice little video of how a stone that we put in a bucket of water wicks moisture through capillary action. It just goes straight up. Some more watermarks, some poor structural repairs. So there's a lot of water damage, water moisture, active moisture intrusion, and structural damage observed in the basement and crawl space in this home. And I take a lot of pictures, obviously. So I've been taking hundreds of pictures in this home just of the structural components because, man, I saw a little bit of silicone and I started gathering more information. Don't need infrared here. It's basically obvious to anyone that there's water problems here. Take a lot of pictures, and that really helps me describe what I'm seeing as a home inspector. Up in the attic in this house, odd, custom, probably poor performing ductwork for the air conditioning. Structure looked okay. There's the air conditioner, very old. Thank goodness they had a condensate leak catch pan underneath the unit, because that is 2 inches of standing water. And it's not draining because it's a plastic pan, and the unit itself is heavy, and it's sitting on the pan, and it's not supported well, and it's not draining properly. So there's my hand. To show water depth, you really have to get your fingers in there and wiggle and then take a picture. So that's a moisture intrusion problem. Water is intruding into the building, and fortunately it was leaked. Fortunately it was caught. The leak was caught in a pan, but it's still there, and so it needs to be attended to. And the ductwork is actually detached, so they are dumping conditioned air into the attic space, which is essentially outside. And they're probably wondering why the coolant bills are so high. And the ductwork was not to standard. And poking around in the attic, you get to see some buckets. This bucket was holding up some ductwork, but these two buckets were actually catching water leaks. And you do run water at all the fixtures, and I like to pound on the tiles to make sure that they're secure and not allowing water to pass through that surface. And I like to pull the plumbing access panels off, especially on the second floor bathrooms. And flush toilets, run sinks, pound tiles, direct water into corners with the shower heads, see what happens. Because when I get down to the first floor ceiling, I look up above the bathrooms and I look for watermarks, water stains, and I do a little follow-up with the infrared scan. If I don't see the infrared scan, I'm not pulling this out. But I will follow up the moisture meter with the infrared first. Steven says, I call dry moisture stains. Yep, technical communicating with your client about your observations is one of the most difficult things to do. That's why every day, at the end of the day, I go over my report narratives. How did I say what I observed to my client? And I'm always improving the way I write my inspection reports. Because at the end of the day, if you happen to be standing in front of a judge, that's really what they're going to look at. What did the inspector write in the report? Because no one remembers what you say. So you have to always work on your inspection report. That's why you should go to Inspector Outlet, InterNACHI's e-commerce partner, inspectoroutlet.com, and buy really good software. And there are discounts for InterNACHI members through Inspector Outlet. You need software because that's the most modern thing that can help you with your business in writing reports. Don't do paper pencil checklists. Don't do NCR forms. I've done all those. You need software, ideally a mobile device, so you can write as you inspect. So you don't have to remember everything at the end of the day. You're actually writing your inspection report as you inspect, and at the end of the day, you're done. And while you're inspecting, if you see something different that you haven't seen before, you need to customize a narrative, well, just edit as you go on the fly. And then tomorrow, your report is better because you've taken the time and invested in developing a better way of communicating to your client. So these terminologies, like Steven said, dry moisture stains, or quoted Rhea, dry moisture stains. You may want to say that, or you may want to say it some other. Jeff says historical water staining. If that's what your clients in your area understand, I actually would have to, if I was your client, I would have to ask you, what does that actually mean? Maybe define commonly used terms in the beginning of your inspection report. Okay. And inspection report narratives, you can get the world's largest library of inspection report narratives from our e-commerce partner, inspectoroutlet.com as well. And why don't I just take you there, so you know what it looks like. So inspectoroutlet.com, it's inspector, hope you can see that, inspectoroutlet, one word, .com, and it looks like that. You come down here, and you click software, and you have a bunch of software to choose from, and also the report narratives. I take pictures also to show my client inspection restrictions. Like this is a garage. To do a moisture intrusion inspection in this garage is going to be almost impossible. Look, I'm looking left, I'm looking right. I can't really see. I'm looking at the, well, there's one sill plate, bottom plate. Up, I see water stains, right? From the chimney flashing area, yep. It's hard to see anything though. So I take pictures as much as I can. I also take pictures of the interior as well. All right, officially, we have 5 minutes left in this live class. Would you like to go through another inspection? Richard says, carefully pound those tiles. Absolutely. Although, the way I handled things like that is if my hand happened to go through a tile wall, and my thumbs usually do, I take a picture of it, and I tell my client the good news. I found weak tile in the bathroom. And if you moved in, you could have put your hand there and punched right through. It's a good thing I found it for you. So if anything breaks like that, if I test a GFCI or an AFCI breaker or receptacle and it doesn't reset, that is good news. You hired the right inspector to find these problems. Yes, it was working before I got there, but I tested it to see if it would perform well and reset, and it doesn't. Unfortunately, we need an electrician now to come in and fix it, and all of these receptacles downstream don't work, yada, yada. But it's always good news when you find a problem like that. So it's okay. Don't break anything on purpose, but if you happen to break something because of water damage, let's say your hand goes through something wet and rotten, well, that's a good thing. So a lot of people are saying yes, yes, yes to do another inspection. Okay, but I'm going to do it really fast, just to give you an idea of just doing another inspection with a lot of pictures, because I want to respect your time. We have only a few minutes left in this live class. And at the end, I want to make sure that you saw the discount. So if you are attending this live class, you can see this discount offering right now. It's a 50% off your first year membership. This is for non-members only attending the live class. If you're watching this at a later date on a YouTube video, you won't see this. So there's the offer. Click that button that says I'm interested. Or you could always email me if you can't figure out what's going on. All right, shall we go? The roof on this is has some damage and poor repairs. I don't know what was going on here. Something was attached. I think it was like a Santa Claus sleigh or something, because there's a lot of silicone. They had something attached up there. It just didn't make any sense. It wasn't a satellite dish. A lot of silicone happy homeowners here. You shouldn't need silicone. If flashing is installed properly, there's no need for silicone or tar paper or sealant. It's all temporary. So if you see silicone or tar, anything like that, I'm not talking about a flat roof. I'm talking about asphalt shingle roof with roof penetration, sloped roof. If it's flashed properly, you shouldn't see any of this stuff. No Band-Aids. No Band-Aids. So the shingle roof is in good shape. The chimneys are in good shape. There's a couple cracks here and there. This is not a properly installed kickout. This is a piece of aluminum, it looks like, probably from a gutter from the truck, the gutter box, and they just stuck it in there. That's not a proper kickout flashing. That's nice termination of the stucco on top of the, at the joint where the sloped shingle roof meets the wall. Flashing around the skylights is great. Again, I think they're happy with silicone. They're just slopping it all over the place. It's really unnecessary. And there's the missing kickout flashing. And then you can see the stain below the gutter end. Classic. If this is what's happening on the outside, guess what's happening behind the stucco? Not good. Silicone around the windows. There's no metal flashing at the head, sides. There's no terminations, no good protruding lip from the stucco. So I called this out, and it's really awful. Somebody picked black silicone, or silicone that just was for interior and absorbed dirt immediately after applying it, because it's just black silicone around the windows. And then the wood siding looked in great shape. Remember, to control rain, water from above grade, shed down and out and away. So it's lapped well. Downspouts are diverting water away from the house. Although I take a look at all this vegetation, it's essentially a moisture sponge, holds the moisture in there. Some bulges in the stucco, some cracks in the stucco. I'm going to try to go fast. Classic missing flashing, kick out flashing at a gutter end. Another missing kick out flashing way above at the gutter end. Where two pieces of different materials meet, even though this is essentially masonry, brick, and stucco, they move a little bit different, and where they intersect, there's cracking, potential water entry point. Really should be cut out, grooved, and sealed well. Stucco looks great. Impermeable surfaces sloped away from the house, looks great. Missing, I see a lot of black silicone. I just want to bring that out. It could be a potential problem. I want somebody to take a look at it. I'm not sure how this, it's not my job to figure out the manufacturer's installation instructions with this stucco and the window. Could be great, could be perfect. The manufacturing instructions should say, you know, put black silicone all around the windows. If that's what it says, great, it was properly done. Otherwise, I'm calling it out because, I don't know, something in the back of my head says, not right. And as a home inspector with my scope, I'm allowed to express my opinion. That's really great. Keep this in mind when you're inspecting a home. This is a 2-story home. This is a little graphic that we have. This is how rainwater should be controlled, down and away. Another garage, can't really see too much what's going on. Some garages are really problematic, especially the bottom plate at the walls. I'd like to take a look at that. And the flooring. The floor should be sloped out to the garage opening. The truss roof structure is in great shape. The heating and cooling system is part of a moisture intrusion inspection because there's condensate, there's temperature issues, there's relative humidity, there's pressurization, there's depressurization, there's humidification, there's dehumidification. Air conditioners dehumidify, humidifiers humidify, just like that. And it's all, a house is a system of interdependent parts. You inspect one thing, like the air filter, that's going to affect all other things in the home. Sump pump, I always love to pull up, open the cover. Sometimes it's sealed, so if it's sealed or secured, I don't touch it. I try to open up a fitting, stick my camera in there, take a flash shot, try to reach in there. Be careful, protect yourself. Water and electricity are not partners, dance partners. Protect yourself. This basement looked good, dry. Couldn't find anything visually. Nothing. It looked really good. But I just want to give you an idea of the amount of pictures that I take. And that's an old moisture meter. Unfortunately, Hydrometer doesn't make these anymore, I don't think. So they're hard to find. Extendable moisture meter with a probe at the very end, 2 probes at the very end. And it just gave me an audible signal and a light. That's all it told me. That's all I want. Don't want to know numbers. I'm not measuring anything. Just want to see anomalies. Give me more information for my eyes, for my senses, really. So just a real quick thing. I took a sheet that looked like a picnic blanket, and I used it when I crawled up. So I protected people's closets because the access to the attic is often in the ceiling of a second floor bedroom closet. So I want to protect people's stuff or protect the floor. Or if I use my ladder, I want to put down my picnic blanket first. And then I go up in. And when I put down my picnic blanket, people started talking about this inspector who takes such good care of other people's things when he goes in the attic or brings up his ladder. He puts down a picnic blanket. You could eat off of it, essentially, right? When I'm here, you could eat off of the surfaces that I walk on because I'm so clean and protective of other people's things. So that's a bit of a marketing branding kind of thing that I do that had an effect on my business. Probably I couldn't measure it. Just a little tip there. And take pictures of the interior, right? Run all the water, take a look at the ceilings, and make sure you get your 50% discount off your first year of InterNACHI membership for free. There's a box on the right side column if you're attending this live class and you're our non-member. We have that available for you. Just click that yellow button, I'm interested. Become an InterNACHI certified moisture intrusion inspector. And my name is Ben Gromyko. I'm from InterNACHI. Thank you all for attending the class. This was a lot of fun preparing for it and teaching it. And if you need anything, contact me. I'm on the contact page. Goodbye, everybody. Bye.